And you're looking at how many of these how often?
Pretty much constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly the flight engineer, because his job is mostly to just look after the engines. And
Okay.
50% of this is really look after the engines, because there's very little warning. If these start lighting up, it's like a big deal. These all fire, and that's the ultimate backstop, you know. But if these things here, like oil pressure, starts really going under the red line, then you have a few seconds and maybe minutes before the engine blows up.
Have you ever had any like really
Personally,
close calls? Or
yeah,
any?
personally, I have a Harry Potter scar in my face. I had an engine failure once, but I was an airplane with one engine, and that's worse.
A problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks to gravity.
I don't know
coming
much
down.
about aviation, but I know that's a problem.
Yeah. So then, it took a 45-degree dive to maintain the ability to just fly the airplane and to put it down in the field, and it was very violent. Wow. But here I am, you know.
And when you do your training, how much of the training is spent dealing with potential problems?
Not so much,
Okay.
but you know, we generally pick pilots that has the right background. I think that's probably similar to what you do. You know, you pick the pilots or players that have a balanced background and done a few things before, and military guys have a different set of discipline maybe, and gone through that, and they can handle being shouted at,
Yeah.
and take constructive criticism without being too fussy about it.
Sure.
You know? And then so that's important. You have a skill set that I also found incredibly rewarding to see. That, you know, I have a French guy, I have a Swiss guy, I have me from Norway, a German, you know, and sometimes we don't even have to speak, you know, we just do it because we've brought up like that. Even though if it's separate countries, the philosophy is the same.
Sure. The understanding and the feel for how to make things work and understand how to make it all come together is there.
So
Yeah.
it's but you know, certainly like in the military, you spend a ton of time, you know, drilling emergencies, right? And when I had my accident, you know, I cashed in all that training on that day, and that's why I'm still here, you know, because there's tons of examples of those who don't, you know, they're not here to talk about it anymore, right?
Sure.
But I think it's always that fight, flight, freeze. You know, how do you react to a special situation? We select people that are more likely to fight the situation instead of freeze. Or,
Sure.
You know, I'm sure there's tons of similarities between football and aviation. And,
Absolutely. Absolutely. We talk all the time about how many guys in our team can we have who come in every single day ready to, with passion, with life, with energy, with enthusiasm, with an open mind, to taking our ideas of football and bringing them to life, going with them. And obviously for us it's exactly the same, where we have so much diversity in our team, players from all over the world.
Right.
And it's not always that everybody speaks the exact same language. We bring players in from other parts of the world, and at first there's no English, but
exactly,
you get them out on the field, and there is an understanding of how to play together, how to move together, how to develop relationships that ultimately can be successful on the field. And so that part is for sure similar.
No, it's the same. As I said, you know, people have different nationalities, and although aviation language is English,
Sure.
still people have flown in you know, their national language. There are certain times that we need to be squeaky 100% clean on that they have a total understanding of what's going to happen, if it's going to be a left turn or a right turn.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you can see, if you've flown together a long time, you know, you can look into their eyes and say, I don't think you actually know now if you're going to left or right, you know.
Right.
Let me just clarify, because the latest is that we're going to go left, and then say, okay.
Sure.
So then that's critical. But then when I know that they know, then I can just relax.
Sure.
Then it's happening.
As a leader, sometimes you have to know when to make things 1,000% clear, and understand when you can assume something and when you can go off intuition or feeling. But then in other moments, you have to then be Like, there's no leaving it to chance. You
Yeah.
just have to make sure that, without a doubt, this is clear and this is the direction we're going.
Yeah, no, for sure.
One of the other interesting things when I hear you talk about, like, in the moments of chaos, like, how do people respond? That's one of the things in our game that we talk about a lot, because football is so fast and dynamic and fluid and complex, and the game is 90 minutes long, and in any moment on the field you have 22 players, two teams, every single player on the field in every moment, whether they realize it or not, subconscious or conscious, they're making a decision. And so as a coach, it's impossible to script or plan every part of a game. It's impossible. Why would you even attempt to?
Want to, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's the beauty of the game.
Yeah.
And so we talk so much about having a team full of players who are ready when the chaos comes, when the unpredictable moments come,
Yeah.
are ready to make decisions and go for it. React, use the training, use their skills, their qualities, and be ready to just play and make a decision, and whether it's the perfect decision or not, go with 1,000% conviction.
Yeah.
And then all of his teammates around him make sure that they're ready to go with him.
Yeah.
And that is because, again, the game is only getting faster and more dynamic and more fluid, and so as a coach, to try to slow that down or to try to pretend like you can send them on the field with every answer for every situation or every problem, it's impossible.
Yeah, there's a billion different ways of
Permutations
doing it.
and situations, exactly right.
Yeah, no, I think it's similar. I mean, it's every game is different. Every flight is also different.
Absolutely.
And we have all these environmental things, and suddenly one of the guys can hit a bird, or something happens, or there's something happening on the ground, and all these changes that you need to be adaptable, right? And,
Sure.
and you try to train them to make sure that this is something they can cope with. And I have very, very capable pilots. I can send them to the most ultimate, fastest airplane, but I need also to see that they have the patience and the stare, the grit to keep going, and to see the ultimately they will do.
Absolutely.
But because some of these airplanes are very critical in the way that you have to operate them,
Sure.
but then I need to then make sure that they have spent enough time in the environment, so they don't have to think about the environment. They can dedicate their brain bots to actually physically fly this airplane.
Sure, it's using your experience, but it's also, I think, maintaining, regardless of how many games or regardless of the teams that you've played on in the past, that love for the game and that drive to continue to get better, to continue to improve, regardless of how old you are or regardless of anything else. Still train each day or play each game like it's the first one or like it's the last one. Ultimately, that's what separates good players from really good players and really good players from the best players, is that ability to just, that consistency, day after day after day, week after week, to step on the field and love what you're doing and continue to get better and better and help any team that you're on.
Yeah. Some have that, and some have a little bit less.
Sure.
And then to find those who have that drive, that's crucial, especially in this way of operating old airplanes, because there's a fascination of learning new things about. Some of these airplanes are simple,
Sure.
but there's so much to learn,
Absolutely.
And every day is a school day. And you spend a lot of time in mental training. 80% of accidents in aviation is human error. And
Is that right?
Yeah.
80%?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's for me, it's very important that I have, and I try to repeat this to the team, that if you make honest mistakes, I will stand behind you.
Absolutely.
Forever.
Absolutely.
If you have a malicious intent and trying to hurt somebody, then I have no space for you.
Sure, then it's
in the
different.
team. But I will stand behind you forever. I will support training and different qualifications and build you. But I need you to just be honest. Say, okay, I fessed up, and then over time, will realize that that's okay.
Sure. I say to the players all the time, I don't care if you make a mistake. I want us to be aggressive. I want us to step on the field every single weekend, to go for it, to be aggressive, to dare, to try to win the game as opposed to not lose the game.
Yeah.
And I would rather you make 50 mistakes and 200 good plays over the course of 90 minutes than you make one mistake or no mistakes and only 10 good plays. In the end, how many good plays can you make in 90 minutes that help us be the team that we want to be? And you're trying to instill that mentality of go for it. Don't worry about what could happen. Just everything that you have in our idea of football.
But sometimes things go wrong, or they certainly take a track where I feel it's important then to just try to take a step back and as a leader look at what's the mood,
Sure.
how is it going? Do people feel, can I see them, that they struggle and think this is a bit, their heart's not in it as much anymore, and would you rather do other things? And I think it's a fine line, between pushing towards a goal that you think is important, but then sometimes we as leaders miss too.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
all the time. And then for me, then it's just okay. Listen to the team. Okay, throw it out there on the table. What do you guys think? And then
Absolutely.
And get a consensus, and then maybe change the course of it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.